welcome to The Explainer. So, you've probably heard it a million times, right? AI is going to change everything, especially when it comes to leadership. But what's real and what's just hype? Well, today, we're going to dig into a huge new study that cuts through the noise and tells us what's really going on. So, this is the big question, right? Is AI really making leaders obsolete? Is it coming for the corner office? Well, the research we're diving into tackles this exact question head on. And let me tell you, the answer is, well, it's way more interesting than just a simple yes or no. Okay, so before we can even talk about AI's role, we've got to understand the problem it's supposedly here to solve. Think about it. Leaders today are in this constant pressure cooker. They're expected to make better, faster decisions, all while drowning in just a sea of data. It's a massive bottleneck. And right on cue, this is where AI makes its grand entrance. It shows up promising to be this incredible efficiency engine, right? A tool that can crunch numbers and process info at a speed that's frankly superhuman. It looks like the perfect answer to that whole leadership bottleneck problem. And at first glance, the impact is wow. I mean, it's just staggering. The research actually found that with AI's help, certain strategic management tasks got done 370% faster. Let that sink in. That's not just a small bump. That's a complete game changer. And this isn't just a one-off thing either. The promise really holds up across the board. You look at things like recruitment or trying to sort through mountains of evidence or analyzing business data. The story is always the same. When you bring AI into the mix, the time it takes to get things done just plummets compared to the old way. Okay, but here's where the plot thickens. This is the crucial turn in the story. Because the research makes it super clear that while AI is unbelievably fast, speed is only half the picture. The quality of what it produces, well, that can be a totally different story. And this really gets to the heart of it. You see, AI is an absolute rock star at structured, data-heavy work. Spotting patterns, processing information consistently, it's a machine. But humans, we still own the areas that require nuance, ethical judgment, and a real feel for the context of a situation. AI just isn't there. In fact, when people start using AI as a lazy shortcut, it doesn't just lead to sloppy work. Oh no. It creates this brand new, really sneaky problem, what the researchers call a productivity parasite. And you'll see, the name is perfect. They call it work slops, and you've probably seen it. It's that stuff that AI spits out that looks amazing on the surface. Perfect formatting, great grammar, all that. But when you actually read it, there's nothing there. It's hollow. It's got no substance, and it just ends up dumping all the real thinking onto your colleagues who then have to fix it or just start all over again. And listen, this is not some small, trivial issue. The numbers are pretty shocking. 40% of employees say they've gotten work slop just in the last month. And every single time it happens, it wastes, on average, almost 2 hours of rework time. Now, you scale that up across a big company, we're talking millions in lost productivity. It completely cancels out the whole reason you started using AI in the first place. So, okay, if AI on its own is fast but kind of shallow, and humans are deep but, a lot slower, what's the answer? Where do we go from here? Well, this is where the research points us to the real solution, and it's all about a hybrid approach. The evidence is really clear on this. The winning strategy is a collaborative workflow. You let the AI do its thing, the heavy lifting, analyzing massive amounts of data, finding those hidden patterns. Then, the human leader steps in to do what we do best, interpret what it all means, validate the conclusions, and add that absolutely critical layer of human judgment. And check this out. The real-world results are seriously compelling. There was one study on hiring leaders that used this exact hybrid model. The result? A 90% job performance rate for the people they hired. This proves it. Combining AI's raw power with human wisdom, it's not just a nice theory. It gets way, way better results. So what does all of this mean for you, for the future of leadership? The biggest thing, the real mental shift we all need to make, is to stop thinking of AI as a tool that's going to replace us. Instead, we need to start seeing it for what it can be, an incredibly powerful collaborator. So when you boil it all down, the future isn't about humans versus machines, it's about humans with machines. The leaders who are going to win are the ones who learn how to work with AI smartly. That means you've got to critically evaluate what it gives you, you've got to double down on those uniquely human skills like context and ethics, and you have to use AI to make your own judgment better, not to replace it entirely. And that really brings us to the final, most important question. The real challenge ahead isn't if we're going to use AI. That ship has sailed. The question is how. So I'll leave you with this to think about. How are you going to use this incredible technology as a true collaborator, and not just as a shortcut that ends up creating more work than it saves?